In this video, I will offer some thought on the idea of standard language through real-life examples and how they relate to the writings of Rosina Lippi Green. This module brought back a very specific memory of mine that I think is a great place to start my discussion of what a standard language is. When I was in high school, I took a trip with a friend of mine and his family to the Wisconsin Dells water parks. During the car ride, he and his cousin were speaking to one another and flawlessly and constantly switching between Spanish and English. I was so fascinated and I could not stop thinking about what it is like to have full comprehension of two different languages to the point where you can switch sentence to sentence in conversation. Now, anyone could look at that and say it is improper or that it is not a true form of either English or Spanish, but if it effectively and efficiently allowed for full understanding from the two speakers involved, why couldn't it be? Something that is interesting looking back on that now and after studying this course is the fact that meaning goes beyond words in different languages. So the actual message of their conversation could have required the selection of different languages depending on how they wanted to express it. For example, Lippi Green talks about how in the Germanic languages the speaker must express their opinion on the validity of the message they are reporting by selecting how to respond. In English, we don't do that. I'm not a fluent Spanish speaker, but I do know that similar differences in the mode of expression exist. And so in having the ability to go language to language or dialect to dialect can alter the expression of the message itself. Another fact that you can look at through this example is, as Lippi Green says, grammaticality and communicative effectiveness are distinct and independent issues. No one would argue that a few bilingual individuals communicating in Spanglish, or any mix of languages, or people from different languages changing dialects could be called standard language, and yet the effectiveness of how people communicate only depends on the receiver, and therefore shouldn't have a distinct standard that everyone should follow. Another example of this is text messaging. I could text a friend of mine just the word drink with no context. It isn't a complete sentence, and it would not be considered proper, but they know full well that I just suggested we go and grab a beer. The message is completely understood even if the language used may not be considered proper. So it is strange, to say the least, that I have imagined this whole time that I could identify proper and improper language.